Everyone, welcome back to the Let's Play series. We are right around day 12 of this new server 611, and today we're going to talk about farm management as well as some other tips and tricks and kind of give a preview of the events, especially for those that are planning to start new that haven't started yet. It's a good idea to know what's coming so that you have a good idea. So first thing to know is that it looks like right around that, before that 2 week mark, the first um, strongest commander came out. Now remember, strongest commander later on is a competition cross world. Early server, early game, it's only a competition in the current world, and you can see there isn't. I don't think there's a kill phase. I think phase 1 is building, phase 2 is probably kill monsters, and phase 3 might be not gather, but build troops and kill monsters. Let's talk about some of the events that are going on. So many of you have noticed this this rather ironic event about you first have an initial phase of spending in order to get discounted prices. This is in a farm, so you can see that this, if you haven't spent anything, there really isn't a great deal. But if you have spent, I think this becomes, if you get to up to the 95%, this becomes $4.99 and is not actually a bad deal if you are spending. So I almost want to boycott this additional spending event. It's insane, the number of spending events that are coming out. However, that being said, people have already spent. You can see that the nation bonus in level in a new nation is actually pretty impressive. So here you can see in this competition, the globe ranking, 269 spent the most, but 611 is right along there, right? So 285 is my main world, 611 is this Let's Play series, and you can see 611 has outspent 285, has outspent a lot of, I don't know if this is global ranking. There is some additional rankings there. You can look at alliance ranking of the different worlds. You can see that 611 really doesn't have an alliance in top 10 just because there's not that many players yet. The alliance levels are low, but there's healthy spending. So this is, I don't know if this is all globes, but this is indicative at least of a healthy spend level, and 611 being a good place to start. So this is a good deal if you are going to spend. We're not going to spend that. We're going to keep the spending down in this Let's Play series. Here I wanted to show you just a couple of tips on what you want to do on your farm account. So we already had some buildings upgrading, and so in this build event, I already have done enough things to collect it. But let's proceed as if we don't. Remember, the ultimate goal is utilize these free events like this Path to Power, right, which ends in a day and an hour. Here, I don't know that we'll be able to reach 500,000 in the farm, but we can attempt it. City upgrade, remember, that's ending in 2 days. Your goal is to get to level 16. I think we're going to do that easily on the main, but it's going to be a little bit harder on the farm, but at least we can get to level 14. So let's get started. Some of the tips that I have. So when you're going to actively build a farm, you want to use these 1 hour VIP cards. So let's go ahead and use that because that's going to speed up things quite a bit. Another thing you want to do in building day is to actually use the 200 gold, because you're going to get, you're basically going to get that back right here. You can see you get these bonuses. There's really no reason why you can't even get these on your farm. So your farms want to be active initially, and then they become a lot less involved. So first thing, this is a farm that I haven't raided. So you want to separate your farms as you're building your main. You want to have farms that you raid and farms that you don't raid. The farms that you don't raid will need to go to level 15 so that they can gather steel. The farms that you do raid is going to give you the oil that you really badly need to grow. So here you can see that I definitely have enough boxes in the resource bags because I haven't raided it. So we're going to go ahead and open up those boxes and do it. I like to open these general purpose ones so that I have specific ones that I can open later. Let's come back to the building. Let's go ahead and start that building. When you're building something that takes a couple of days, you want to make sure that because you only have 24 hours left on your second queue, that you always do the longer building in your first queue. So that's a key thing. You don't want to start something small and then have to buy 2 more golden hammers or 200 or waste gold to do that second queue. So let's go ahead and upgrade. We'll use the ones that they recommend. Ask for help. And so that places us at level almost in time for C14, and then the goal is get this farm to C15 while your main builds. In that second queue, you want to keep progressing along. So it's a good idea to see what is some of these quests require, and we're going to probably stop following that quest. And now, even on your farm, remember you want to keep on promoting troops. You want to keep on building troops, right? So we do the highest one that's available. You're going to of course need the resources because we've used up everything to upgrade, and keep doing everything that you would in a normal main city just to keep the farm going, keep getting those free items and getting that growth early on. Later on, these farms become very low maintenance. You're just going to be logging in, sending in gatherers, and raiding them as you need them. But initial game, it's a lot of work. Of course, the alternative is that you would have to. So here you can see we already collected our 300k BP reward. And then also at the same time, you want to make sure that you get all those queues done. So we'll build those troops. Of course, we're using resources for everything. One way that we can do it is actually get the skill here. Having this VIP on helps you get some more resources because you can see you have some boost here with the output. So let's go ahead and do that. That way we don't have to use the bags for just the small building queue troops. On here, you want to build the stormtroopers over the shielders. They're better fighters as well as they're better collectors, especially on a farm. You want to keep everything active because sometimes you can actually use your farms to clear troops, and the best defense on your farm is to have enough troops below hospital capacity that makes raiding them undesirable or cost ineffective for the people that want the resources. So keep the spend down, so keep the resources down, and make the farm a strong farm. So this is already level 13. We are now going to move to a farm. Well, let's actually build a second building. So sometimes you want to look at the chart of what is the next building requirement in order to speed the process along. However, one thing that you can keep in mind is that it always is a good idea to finish these quests along this line so that you can get the gold, you can get the building equipment. So it's a good idea to follow that. Now, of course, we accidentally queued troops, so let me go ahead and speed that. No problem, because that helps our BP and reaches our goals. So let's go ahead and set that upgrade. All right. Even on your farm, you want to get that mobility down if you have the time. If you don't have the time, then you don't want to be hunting zombies. But keep in mind that even on your farm, hunting zombies is a good idea for at least getting that first zombie reward. So each zombie that you hit is going to give you this first zombie hitting reward and gives you these great items that helps you speed up, as well as the gold. So that's something to keep in mind, that you want to keep up those farms at least for those first hit. You don't have to get that the mobility down to 0 because that's a lot of time commitment. And then same thing for tower. You want to do some of those things to the extent that you can. Practice some of those tower levels and get those farms and those free speeds so that you can get this farm up and going to C15 as soon as possible. Next is research. On your farm research, everything's going to be focused, as you guessed, on resources. You're going to be focusing everything on oil output and oil gathering. So here we upgraded, I think, so we have enough. Let's just use some of these bags and go ahead and queue oil production. Always try to do production over gathering because it's always on, right? So gathering is only there when you are upgrading it. Gathering is only there when your troops are out. However, with production, it's always going to be on. Then let's next look at your development tree. So remember, on the farms that you probably do want to keep at least this recall skill available because it's very useful in being able to recall troops early, being able to defend the farm, and just making the whole gathering process easy. Other than that, everything is going to be focused on oil. So keep on going on the oil path. You can see here that you have 2 choices. Later on, you can of course select food production, but you want to go down this path, go to oil, then get to this level of load, and then steel and mineral. On your officers for the farm, you're going to be focusing on the gathering hero, I Medici. Remember, this is just a placeholder to get some of the quests. So I was actually able to, have enough XP to meet the level 15 quest. So we can probably reset this. But again, there's no point in resetting it now because I don't really have a use for it yet. Whenever the quests come to use Officer XP, you can then reset this hero. To reset it, you simply just, select the hero, go to this menu, and then there's this little button here on the bottom left corner. Hit that recycle button, and then if you do it, it basically returns a percentage of the skill books that you use to level up. So we're not going to do that yet, but that's the way that you reset it. Same thing you can do with skills. We don't have skills here, but once you select the skills, you can forget the skill and recover a portion of those skill books used. For equipment, I did want to show this, that I did start, you can see here, start building some of these level 1 equipments just because it helps kind of do the tower and helps some of the BP quests, and there was some quests to increase equipment power. One thing that I will say is that one nice way to do this is, see here, before using green equipment, because the right side is rare, I recommend changing it to using the common part and then seeing if you get lucky with developing the output you can see here is 44.7% and 55 is going to be, so it's most likely it's going to be white. Hit develop. Let's take a look and see what we get. And then look, we got lucky. So even with a 44% chance, the great thing there is that, we didn't lose, we didn't have to use a green rare material to do it. Now you can't level these up, but I did level it up in my main, which we'll switch over and take a look at quickly right now. Here we are in the main, and I quickly wanted to show the equipment here. So I played around with it a little bit. You can see that I actually developed a couple to level 2. And you might be wondering, what are you doing? So here, all of these are placeholders. I don't plan to really develop these any further, but the reason I did that, so at level 15, it allows you to unlock and level it up to level 2. So in order to level up to level 3, you can see here at the bottom, it's saying you need level 20. So your equipment level is going to be capped based on your city level. So at city level 15, you can upgrade all of these to level 2. The reason that I did this level 2 is because it allows you to equip extensions. So this is good in terms of those BP golds, as well as getting a higher score in your infinite zombies. Because remember, some of these bonuses, right, for laser, which is the most important one, here you can see if you hit the question mark, laser, and look, my laser power is actually the highest because of that equipment, right? So equipment power is what gives you the laser damage. So laser damage is really important to pass both the classic tower as well as the infinite one. So it is okay. Yes, I am not following the recommendation, but it's intentional, right? So here, when you build it to level 2, there is a loss, right? So when you break down this, so if I go in and I shut it down, when you break this down, you're gonna lose that 5,000 ore because you only get 25,000 back. So if I say, hey, let's disassemble it, you're only going to get back the 25,000 that it needed to go from level 1 to level 2. So you're going to lose 5,000 ore. But I said I think that's an okay cost because by the time I develop purple equipment, I'm going to be sitting on I'm going to be sitting on an empty slot or a lower scores for a while. So this is why I recommend, even with that 5,000 loss, that you do it. How do you do it? So here, let's try one more. I'll show it here. Here you can see for the stimulator, we're going to try to increase this to level 2. So first you're going to equip the equipment here. So level 1, we'll select it, confirm. And here again, I'm going to make this be a common material. The core is green. So here you can see now we have a slightly better chance of getting green because the core is green. We have enough ore, so let's go ahead and try to develop it. And we got lucky, so great. The key thing is I'm not wasting, the blue part here, right? So there's no wastage except for white equipment. So I'm just playing around, and if I get lucky, great, it's green. It helps me slightly. It helps with the boost, and you can go back and see that now look, we got these free items from doing tower and doing the level 15 quest. Now you have them. I didn't build this. I didn't develop this. Now you can use this extension and actually hit connect. So the reason why I did all of that, so you can see here that in my manage equipment, I built a one that allows me to equip the attack extension. And then I did one that allowed me to equip the defense extension. And then finally, I did this stimulator that allows me to equip this vigor extension, right? So this all helps a little extra bit. And now if you come back to your infinite zombies and look at that laser. So now, because I both upgraded my equipment and got the attached that extension, now it went from 37.5 to 45, right? So this is moving along just nicely. So those are some of the tips that I have in equipment. Yes, you're losing a little bit of power ore. Yes, you're losing a little bit of material, but you're just basically playing around and getting some of these advantages. Here you can see I could, I could upgrade this, but we're going to wait until we have some quests and do it that way. I believe there isn't any loss when you already have an extension built and you're upgrading it, meaning when I recycle or demolish this extension, there isn't going to be a loss from this upgrade. There is a loss when you create it, right? So if you created it, if I didn't have this already given, then there is some losses. So I would say don't create blue, only create purple extensions when you have them, so you'll have the recipe. But there is no loss in terms of if you haven't already created green extension and then you upgrade it, there isn't a loss. So that's kind of a cool thing to remember. Okay, let's go back to some of the events. So here you can see there was a biochemical technology boost. So the key in this game is saving, right? So we were able to get the first 4 tiers just by saving, not really purchasing anything. So saving is key. In this building technology phase, look at my ranking. I'm ranked outside 1,000. There really isn't great rewards, and there certainly isn't anything outside the 100. You can even see that. Don't go crazy on this event because you're only getting rank number 1 reward is 2,500 gold. Now, yes, of course it accumulates, and there is better rewards for the strongest commander. You can see some people have gone all out, and look at some of those points. He's already at level 26. That's Wolf. Our alliance is doing pretty good. That's Leela. She is in 5th place. And you can see here we are. Some of the other events that are happening is the Path to Power we talked about. So I've already met the 500K. That should be easy to do. And then I think we're on target to be able to get to level 16 and collect this last reward. So everything is progressing pretty well. A couple of things that I want to show next is how to raid a farm. So we will switch to a farm, and then I will show that right now. Actually, it is a good idea to show you how you can switch accounts. So I'm going to show that here. So I have some of the farms in another. You can see I have many of these from previous servers. I'm only using 3 accounts for 611. So you can see here I still have the 285. You're allowed to have 2 per world per bind method. So we're going to go ahead and try to raid farm number, I can't remember, maybe it's 3. And I think we've already went ahead and sent all the troops out. Nope, we haven't. So great, I can show that. So here you can see in this farm, let's see if we've actually finished and done all the events already. No, we have one more thing to do. So let's go ahead and actually do that before we raid it so that we can finish this quest. Let's see. So hospital needs to be level 6. Let's go ahead and quickly do some of that. To demonstrate what I was trying to show on the farm. So you want to go into your city buff, use the 1 hour card, use the golden hammer, and strategically, especially when you want to do a lot of building early on, one tip that I will say is that you want to be able to use that VIP and use that free time, right? The free time is gold. So here you can see, since we have VIP level 3, we have 5-minute free time. So it's only going to take a 5-minute speed to get this building done. And that's kind of the key things that you want to do. You want to have low-level buildings for these build events, you want to have 2 queues. You want to use that 1 hour VIP to kind of just, bam, bam, go quickly through all of your queues. So this is good. And in your farms, you really want to be focusing on production, right? So the focus on production is going to be this is what this account is designed for. It is designed to support your main and to support the resource needs of the main. So here you can see we're quickly able to do a couple of 5-minute speeds, do these quests, increase the production, and then look at that. We already finished. It's really early game. It's really easy to get this 280 gold. So you want to get that in those farms because it gives you that second build queue with that gold, and you can keep on building and getting your farm to collect first steel at level 15 quickly, and then minerals at level 20. So in order for your farm to go from 15 to 20, you'll need a farm of a farm, right? So farming can be an exhausting exercise. So you have to be careful with, trying to build too many farms at the same time and still enjoying the game. But the resource needs in this game are pretty insane if you're not buying resources. So it is a good idea to stay on top of the farms. So let's go ahead and quickly just queue the buildings, and I want to show you guys how to raid. Should be pretty simple. Many of you already know this. You can see here it's there's no reason to actually not keep up with some of these quests because you're going to collect those biochemical materials, and then you can still get the free items. The name of the game is free. You want to be an opportunist to build things in the game only when they require you to, or when you need it, right? So that's how you want to get a easy, smart way to get ahead. So we got the hospital done, and now we are ready to upgrade the city. You can see we have well more than enough resources, so let's hit the upgrade button. And second queue, we want to keep on progressing on the Doomsday Recovery Plan. In order to do that research, you're going to see that, wait a minute, that needs level 10 Academy, so that's probably good for a second queue. Let's go ahead and upgrade that guy. Now we are going to go ahead and get ready to send the troops away. So the main thing that you want to do is when you want to send troops away, and remember on your farm, you probably early on want to gather oils. So set it to where you're going to send all of the troops away, including the Titan. This is a situation where you don't want to leave a few troops because you're going to be attacking. So send 50% of the fleet, because I have 2 fleets available now in this farm. And then now send it to another oil farm here, or oil field. We've sent all the troops away, right? Let's go ahead and get ready to now open up our boxes and get it ready for raiding. So we're going to build some troops. You always want to keep that open. And now we've sent out the troops. You want to make sure nobody else is heading to it by clicking on the cart and hitting this button right here on the destination. You can see, yep, nobody else. There's no other white line heading to it. So now that that's ready to go, let's actually go into your bag, then go into your resources tab on the top left, and then open up kind of what you need. We really don't need that much food, and I recommend keeping the 3K bags because there will be an exchange for mineral and steel. So you want to leave the 3K bags alone. You can open up all the other bags, and I recommend on a farm to leave some of the food bags so that you're not having to gather food later when you need to do the upgrades, right? So let's open up all the oil because we need as much oil as we can in our main. And you want to open up any of these generic common resources as well. So we've opened up everything. We've left the food alone because we don't really need that much more food in our main. So open kind of what you need. Now it's ready. You can see, well, okay, we have 3.1 million in oil and 1.8 million in food. If you look at your depot, some of that's going to be collected, right? Protected. So you're not going to be able to rate it to 0. It's always going to be at this level here of the 300, almost 400K that you won't be able to rate. So this farm is now ready to go. As these are collecting and gathering, that will give you an idea of how much time you have before those troops return. And you want to finish your raiding before those troops come. Last check you want to do is come back here. You can look at your garage and check your fleet army. You can see everything is away. Now there is some zombies here. on your farm, you want to make sure that, if you've never done anything in your farm and haven't changed this, it won't be a problem. But you want to make sure that if you have messed with it, make sure that join defend city is turned off, because if you can't send zombies to collect because they have zero collection or carry capacity. So if that's the case, you have to make sure that you don't click this, right? So it's going to always give you this prompt that, are you sure you want them to join? Make sure it's not clicked when you raid it, otherwise you're going to hit your own zombies or your own farm zombies. Now you're going to basically, it's ready to gather. So here you can see basically it's giving you a processing time. So we have 3 hours and 20 minutes. Should be about the same for the other one because we sent 50% of the fleet. So we have 3 hours to basically raid this farm. So you want to go back to switch. I like the Google switching. You can also switch in Facebook or Apple, whatever you use. This is, and you have to kind of remember where you save what account. But we're going to now go into our main and we're going to start we're going to start raiding. So as long as the city is empty, you're going to be okay to attack it. Now let me show you. So first of all, we have to find that farm. So you have to, you probably want to write down or keep a list or scout it at some point and before you raid it, you always want to make sure, just in case you're hitting the wrong farm, you've troops have come back. Before you attack your own farm, you want to make sure that you actually scout it. So I think it was farm 2, but I can't remember exactly if it was farm 2 or 3. So let's take I forgot even where farm 3 is. I found it. It wasn't farm 2, which is good that I gave that warning, because you can see the white lines of the troops going to gather, right? So it was farm 3 that we raided, but of course, if you scouted, you should have seen, wait a minute. But actually, farm 2 is ready too, because I got that ready earlier. It's only zombies here, so this looks like it's ready to raid. And we can go ahead and actually attack that. So let's go ahead and attack that. When you attack it, if it's set to friendly, remember you can't attack alliances that are in union. So you want to make sure that your farm is not in the same alliance, otherwise you can't raid. And you want to make sure that it's not in a union. So when you attack it, you can select whatever troops you want. Really doesn't matter to get the maximum capacity. Make sure you don't select your Titan, because if you select your Titan, every hit it's going to lose 10% of the vitality, and you're not going to be able to use it once it goes below 30. So you want to keep those Titans for actual battle. So even if there's no battle ensued, if you send out the Titan, it loses 10 mobility. For instance, you can look at a report here where we attacked another city. Here you can see it's showing Titan vitality 10% or 10 lost, 100. You can get back that vitality back, but it costs gold. So here you can see I hit it with 1 because I do have a second fleet available, right? And so you can actually hit with multiple fleets. So if you have 3 fleets available and you have troops enough for 3 fleets, you can hit it with multiple troops. Every time you have to unclick that Titan. So what I recommend, and an easy way to do it, is to just take whatever fleet you have and save it at 50% without the Titan, and then you can just use that saved fleet to hit it, which we'll show in a second. So this time we'll use the saved fleet. So here you can see that, okay, so we have 50% of the troops, deselect the Titan, and go ahead and actually save this as a fleet. You have 7 fleets that you can use. So I saved it in 7. You can actually name the fleets that you have in your garage, so that way you don't get confused yourself. But here, now you can use a saved fleet, so now you don't have to unselect the Titan every time. So you can hit attack. So saved fleets are really, really important, because that's that's how you make sure that you send the correct fleet. So if we go back to garage and take a look at some of my fleets, we can see it there. So here you can see, here you can actually, here's fleet number 1, right? So I have it saved as, this is my main attack fleet. You can see that I've saved, the 1 of each of front row and middle row, 1 of each of zombie. I haven't renamed it, but let's rename it. So this will be basically, let's call it farm attack. So when you send it to a farm, you want to always make sure you just send 1 to front row, just because the goal is to let your back row do the killing, and each of those front row and middle row just take some of those hits and give you some more time. So you can save the fleet name here. In this button right here, you see that there's an all button. You can toggle through the 3 modes. Notice that I used the lower troop tier, because it's basically they're going to always die, so you want to lose less. It's quicker to build the lower troops, and they cost less, so it's better to use the lowest troop that you have, as long as you have enough. You don't want to, if you have two basic shredders and you're going to send this multiple times, you want to make sure that you have at least enough to be able to not have to come back and resave your fleet. So front row, middle row, you can see I have one of each, a gunner, a bike, a rocket launcher, and then the stormtrooper. For back row, I don't have, for front row and back row, we're missing armored soldier and lasers. So we have to wait until we're at city level 16 to get those, which is next. So that's saved fleets, and that's how you can kind of raid farms. Next, I want to show you how to, what's a quick way to do a time attack, and just, what's a quick way to make sure that your time is close to the lead time. So we'll take a quick look at that. While we're waiting to get a target and enough people to show a decent TA, I wanted to just clarify a couple of things. So first off, in your heroes, I realized this while hitting Mother of Doom, that it is actually better to equip Butterfly instead of Panda until you get Panda to about 3 stars and level up those skills. And this is the reason why, right? So Panda's skill basically only applies when you're attacking a city. So in the beginning, when you're not attacking cities, when you're attacking zombies, when you're attacking Mother of Doom, you're actually better off using Butterfly. So just to give you a demonstration, so I hit with Panda equipped. Mother of Doom is over now, but that was a few days ago, so I'll just show you the damage differential. So here's the Mother of Doom hits. You can see here, this is the first hit with Panda equipped. And this is basically the next hit, where you can see 4,000 more damage from just equipping Butterfly, right? Butterfly, even though it's a blue hero, is like a blue Tifa. It applies to all battles. So that's the great beauty of Butterfly. So thanks to Prever for pointing that out, as well as, I apologize for that kind of misleading switch to Panda. You probably want to keep Butterfly around until you have Panda, and especially if you're free to play, it's going to take a while to get Panda to 3 stars. So keep that Butterfly around. I haven't decided yet if I want to star up Butterfly, but that's also a good idea. But if you're free to play and you want to get that early boost, and there is all of these fragments that Butterfly could easily take to a next star. However, I'm waiting on that just because sometimes when you find these exchanges, you want to be able to have enough Z coins to do the trade. So I'd say decide that based on, and look, I even missed it. So there is a good trade right there. You want to buy Major Morgan, and you want to buy your skill chests. Skill chests are absolutely necessary, and then War and Major Morgan are extremely important for you to be able to have enough Z coins to do that. So it's kind of like balancing your Z coin, because if you don't have enough Z coin and you really want to find something here that you want to buy, you might need to sell the heroes that you might want to keep, right? So I'm here. You can see I can actually make a Jimmy. I can make a Butterfly and level up a Butterfly. I think I already have a Butterfly. It's equipped right now, but I'm holding on until until it's absolutely necessary. So, but I did want to clarify that. One more thing that Prever pointed out that I wanted to also mention, because it actually made sense to me, is that a lot of this, the recruit elite orders is, almost superstition, right? So, do the elite orders, exit the game, and come back. But Prever actually pointed out that it seems like the game is designed to be every 18 elite orders, you get a second hero pool. So sometimes when it skips it and you get 2 in a row, it's more of the fact that when you do an elite order, you get that extra pool, so it's 10 times. So and so there might be a situation where you get 2 purples in a row, and sometimes there is a situation where you get actually 2 purples in the same elite pool. So some of that, exit the game coming back may just be more superstition than not. So I wanted to point out that that's not science, and it's more of just some people's opinion, and some people have seen the results and keep doing it, right? Perfect. We finally found a target. So the basics of a timed attack, which is not very useful in Void because it has become a basically only speed attack format. But early game and the first Voids, I think time attack is important. And then, of course, getting to Void, city battle, capital battle, it's really important. So we found a target. The target is posted. You find out who is the longest time. So here you can see Big Sad is the longest time. Look at the target. So my time is 122. His time is 144. Allison Deadland is 134. So there's 10 seconds between the times. Usually he will say it and then say you usually put either a go 10 or a go 5. That means in 5 seconds. And that's really important when the target is, your times are really close. So here you can see Alice already went. So you're looking at the time here. You want to expand it to look at the lead person, which is Big Sad. So 122 is my time. I have 3 seconds. 1001, 1002, 1003. And then I hit send. So that was a little quick, and I'll show it again. But here you can see it's always good. So I'm about a second late, but all those times are essentially good enough, right? So these are expert players that know what they're doing. You'll get there in no time. It's just a matter of practice. So essentially, you're looking at the time differential, and the key things and the tip that I will say is that sometimes if somebody goes early and you just look at the time right here at the top of the fleet time, that is dangerous, because if somebody goes early, you're going to follow that early person. In a TA of, let's say, 20 people, and somebody accidentally does a miscalculation and goes early, you don't want to follow them and essentially go to your death. You want to always expand this by clicking on the two attack bars, and then look at the original attacker, the first person that sent it, which in this case was Big Sat, right? So that is really important. And then that's how you don't want to be wasting time selecting troops. And notice that I used a saved fleet. And if you are ever late, you can use speed ups. The general theory is that, if it's a big attack and it's void and you'll really lose troops, if you're really early, you want to hit recall. If you're a couple of minutes or if you're a couple of seconds late, you can use a speed up using these fleet speeds, but you want to use these sparingly. These are very expensive and hard to find. Of course, we're not going to use it now. So here you can see that battle has ensued, and so this was just a small target that was close enough for us to demonstrate the battle and look at the timing. So here you can see that's the beauty of a timed attack. You're joining your forces, and that's a really quick demonstration of how it works. I'll end with some reminders. Make sure that you always do the ruins. That's a great way to get those free items. Even if you're maxed on refugees, always make sure you do the refugee rescue as well. Make sure that you always gather and the maximum ore that you can daily. Those are really important. And a good rule of thumb is to do everything that you can to get this last reward. Stay tuned for more on this Let's Play series, and thank you. These videos are what they are thanks to the awesome community of followers that we have here, people that actually share their information, make it better, that are eager to point out mistakes that I make. So special thanks to all of those people that contribute to making this content better. Reason I do this is because to help people that are newer to the game, that are learning and getting more from this experience, and even spending less. I hope Camel makes more content that is focused on the gear, less on these blind spend events and dress up games and more. It's been a while that they've done additional levels of tower defense. A lot of us started playing this game because of tower defense, and there hasn't been any new tower levels in almost like 2 years plus. So the gameplay of the game is really nice. So I'd love to see some more of that and less of it's okay. Some of us will spend more than others. But to make this game continue, you have to kind of get back to the basics and the mechanics of it, reduce the lag, and focus on some content that's actually related to the game mechanics, not a silly island and not a bunny event and a costume play, right? So thank you all for watching. And thank you for your support. Have a wonderful week.